Hello, folks. So, I'm going to be talking to you today about the current state of Southern Nevada's driving, moving around places, and the status of the state of the transportation. So, what really comes in to speak to my heart is that, you know, more than 10 years ago, I mean, it was like not that much traffic as it is today. Now, because there are people that are moving around coming from other cities and other states, so it actually has become like a hub where there's kind of too many cars that's now on the road, similar to like the one in California. But for me, the issue is that it's not because of the there's too many cars now. It's just that there's kind of a lot of reckless, crazy drivers nowadays. They're not considering in letting someone change lane, or they're not letting someone pass through. People are even on the parking lots just running to the entrance of the street like it's a freeway. Because I think because now because it's a entertainment city, and stuff is like you know the drinks and stuff. People are crazy drunk driving. Well, of course, there's people who come from other parts, like in the rurals or in other cities. They have certain rules, and they bring it here to this part of Southern Nevada, and it becomes part of their habit. Well, I've noticed that, like when I was in California, they what they don't do here in Nevada is when in a four-way stop, or like in a traffic light stop, how when there's like a yellow yield, the cars that usually make a left turn usually do not stay in the middle. Well, I'm not a driver myself, so I cannot speak too much, but I'm always driving around with my father, elsewhere. So he knows how to drive, and he is very driving consciously. And every day on the road, it's almost like there's too many car accidents because, people are just driving like psychos. And not only that, the drivers are kind of like they're so caffeinated that they're just driving around hyper. So here's another issue nowadays is that I think because of the infrastructure projects, as the result of the bipartisan infrastructure, well, there has always been infrastructure here in Southern Nevada than in over the last few years, that there's too many constructions and roads are expanding, and then of course the people are complaining because as the result of the roads having to be repaved, because people are always driving around elsewhere and they're hyper. Some of them are short-tempered drivers, so they're kind of like impatient, and now they're complaining that there's too many construction in the road. Well, it's true. Some of them is genuine for to expand roads, expand lanes, yes, and some of them actually are for to help maintain the roads. Now, here's another issue: is public transportation. Prior to the coronavirus 2019 pandemic, the transportation of the Southern Nevada's regional transportation uh, buses were always around, and all the lanes and streets had accesses to every bus stop. Almost every bus stop would every bus would stop between 10 to 15 minutes in every main street. Now, ever since the pandemic ended, people started going with other jobs. It's now and more for fewer people are driving these public transportation buses, metro buses. Now it's almost like 15 to 25 minute, wait until the next bus, comes to a stop to pick up more passengers. I too take the bus sometimes. I too take the bus whenever I just let my dad, go somewhere on his own with his car. And it somehow badly affects me that, this is the painful result that people started, going to other jobs. And, you know, it's very stressful, especially if you're going somewhere and you're under pressure that you need to have like a 15 to 30 minute wait until the next bus driver, stops to, pick up more passengers, which I think there should be genuine jobs and genuine unions and, genuine equity pay for, these bus drivers so that, it could bring back, when, Southern Nevada had, lots of, bus driving and people, bus drivers would, at every 5 to 10 minutes, would pick up passengers on particular bus stops. So, and here's the last thing that, issue I want to bring up is, the airline, companies or the airlines or, you know, Clark County. So, as I speak, some of you who are watching this who are from, of course, me from Southern Nevada, knows that, there's already a project of expanding an airport to Jean, which is near the state line between Nevada and California, in that area, to expand an airport for those if it's crowded in, Harry Reid Airport, which, you know, uh, nothing to object, it's also good. One thing is that because some of you who know me, I travel a lot to the Philippines in my parents' homeland. So, you know, uh, I usually take Korean Air. That's the only Asian airliner that, you know, flies to Las Vegas. There's about more than two from South America and Central America and Mexico, that has direct flights to Las Vegas. And there are those in Europe, like, British Airways or Netherlands KLM, who have direct flights to Las Vegas. But, there's not enough flights to, you know, from Asia that, go to Las Vegas. So, I think this is an issue that really needs to be dealt with Clark County Aviation and the Asian airline companies to have a sit down and talk while, you know, while Jean Airport is still being built. They should have at least one more Asian airliner to land in Harry Reid Airport that's in the process. So here's one more here's one last thing that I'll address in public transportation, aside from, the three issues I've talked about, is the trains that go from city to city. So as we know, Las Vegas will have a fast bullet train that will go from Las Vegas to Rancho Cucamonga, linking to other, you know, train train areas, and, these train liners like Metrolink in Southern California or Amtrak. Before there was like an Amtrak that goes from LA to Las Vegas, then to uh, Salt Lake City, but it was lower. I think this is a good thing that, it took so long to have a bullet train that goes from Las Vegas to Southern California. So now that there's already a project there, I think that needs to be done also is a fast train or bullet train, let's say Bright Line or Amtrak specifically, that goes from Salt Lake City to Las Vegas, and of course one that goes to Las Vegas from Phoenix. Which I think that those are the two projects that need to be proposed within Clark County and the other train companies than just the Southern California Las Vegas transportation or transit. Now, the one thing that also bring up that regarding about infrastructure is that there's people who are towing this anti-train rhetorics, how expensive it is to build these types of train transportations. Yes, it's true. While it's only about $10 billion to invest on a train versus almost $1 trillion for weapons manufacturing, which that's another issue. I do agree that it it's less costly to maintain train tracks for passenger trains and fix them than repaving unpaved roads or you know roads that are already pavements that are already cracked and repave them. You can even look at the statistics. It's even costly to expand more highways than you expand the train tracks. Those are some of the analytics from even from numbers, not just experts. So before I go, I think it's the fact that it's very good that there's so much construction, so that at least in the near future, when people are more driving cars, that there's enough lanes, for people to not to get too congested into traffics, and that we need to build more walk-friendly neighborhoods. We need to build walking neighborhoods, at least walking suburbs, so that at least people don't have to drive cars to get one place to another, especially if you're going to like a supermarket or convenience store. You don't have to at least drive. You can just bring with you your dolly or cart to buy some things in the supermarket or at the convenience store, and that you don't have to drive from point A to point B for these particular areas. Well, it's kind of nothing than compared to other states where if you're driving, you can easily find things just nearby. Like you can find two Chevron gas stations just across from each other, which is near in the Allegiant Stadium, where the Raiders play. There should at least be one or two Asian airliners to fly from Harry Reid Airport to their places in Asia, while the Jean Airport still needs to be built. There should at least be like a bullet train, maybe an Amtrak or Brightline, that goes from Phoenix to Las Vegas and then to Salt Lake City and Denver. And of course, the other way goes around too. So this is the current state that I think needs to be addressed in Southern Nevada, as things are already evolving. Plus, more people are visiting Las Vegas and more people are moving to Las Vegas. So I think this is an issue that really needs to be addressed. It's very important. When I was in Las Vegas, back in 2007, well, there wasn't that much traffic and not that much crazy drivers as today. So safety and the regulating, types of traffic safety really needs to be addressed too, because statistics say that we're one of the worst in car accidents in the country. So anyway, I will see you in my next video. and have a good week.